believe that they gave me a raw deal because this industry is a monster. It's the same monster that these Me Too trying to tell you about. But they hate the monster for how it and I hate that monster for how it eats. But my God, man, it's the same monster.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
We're listening to Mike right now. Obviously, you know, this is a really sad time right now, but we're celebrating his life. Your thoughts right now on the situation and the timing of this tragedy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's just somebody that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Somebody I'll always love and cherish.
I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide, candles, incense, liquor, lights, tons of toiletries.
Some stories aren't just entertainment, they're warnings. Beneath the flashing lights, red carpets, and award show smiles lies a world most fans never see. A world where secrets are traded like currency, alliances shift overnight, and the cost of fame is far higher than anyone dares admit. For years, whispers have circulated about what really goes on behind closed doors, about diaries that mysteriously vanished, tapes that never reached the public, and testimonies that were silenced before they could spark a fire. What's been uncovered is more than just rumor. It's a chilling portrait of how far the industry will go to protect its biggest players. But as new leaks and resurfaced stories keep piling up, fans are starting to realize that the truth may have been in front of us the entire time, hidden in plain sight. And what we're about to uncover will change the way you look at some of the most powerful names in entertainment forever. And as the betrayals mounted, something unexpected happened. Old footage and forgotten interviews began resurfacing, giving fans new clues and raising questions the industry wasn't ready to answer. Just when it seemed the storm was quieting down, the internet did what it does best, digging through the past. Old interviews that once seemed harmless began trending again, with fans pointing out odd details most had ignored the first time. Nervous laughs, hesitations, and strange phrases suddenly carried new weight. Clips spread across TikTok and YouTube, with creators dissecting them frame by frame. "Look at their body language here," one video said. "Listen to what they didn't answer in this question," another explained. A forgotten red carpet moment turned into a viral theory overnight. Even casual jokes made years earlier were now reinterpreted as secret confessions hiding in plain sight. The internet had turned into a digital detective squad, piecing together clues the mainstream had brushed aside. And the deeper they looked, the clearer it became that these resurfaced moments weren't isolated. They formed a pattern pointing toward a much larger story. With every clue that resurfaced, the accusations grew darker. Whispers of manipulation, coercion, and dangerous entanglements began spreading. Journalists avoided certain questions, insiders spoke in half-truths, and anonymous posts online claimed to have knowledge too risky to share publicly. Fans were left to sort through the noise. What was real, what was exaggerated, and what had been buried intentionally.
I'm not supposed to do this in my business. I'm up here doing something that nobody else in this business has the balls to do. I'm telling you something that you need to know. I'm trying to explain to you what you're seeing. You don't understand what you're seeing. I am publicly flogging a network. And I know that this network nigga, they watching me and they saying, why are you doing this so publicly? Doesn't feel good to be flogged publicly. Oh, believe me, I know. I know exactly how that feels. When I quit my show, they said I was crazy. What was crazy about it? I just didn't want to do it anymore. They said I smoked crack. That's impossible. I was a devout Muslim. I didn't smoke or drink. But I do now because you ruined my life.
The scariest part was how often the darkest claims seemed to connect with unexplained events in the star's life. Abrupt cancellations, sudden feuds, and disappearances that were never fully explained. But the allegations weren't just about one person. They hinted at something bigger. A system built on silence where speaking up could mean losing everything, and where secrets weren't just rumors. They were weapons. And just as the speculation reached fever pitch, social media turned the story into something impossible to ignore. What once would have been a brief headline became an endless storm online. TikTok creators built entire series around the story. YouTube commentators broke down timelines, and Twitter threads connected the dots in ways the media never dared. Memes turned serious scandals into viral moments, but behind the humor was genuine curiosity and suspicion. Hashtags trended worldwide, and suddenly everyone had an opinion. Some defended the star, calling them a victim of an unforgiving system. Others insisted they were complicit in their own downfall. The debates were heated, but the attention was relentless. Every new clue sparked thousands of comments, and every resurfaced rumor pushed the story deeper into the spotlight. What made the online reaction different was its persistence. Stories usually fade, but this one kept returning, fueled by fans who refused to let it die. In many ways, the internet became the star's unofficial record keeper, ensuring that no matter how much the industry tried to bury the past, the truth, or at least pieces of it, remained alive. The more people examined the case, the more they noticed something unsettling. This wasn't the first time. Other stars had faced suspiciously similar rises and falls. Meteoric success followed by controversy, betrayal, and a silence that never felt natural. From actors to musicians, the pattern repeated like clockwork. A breakthrough, a scandal, an unexplained disappearance, and then eventually a quiet return or permanent exile from the spotlight. It was as if the entertainment industry had a blueprint for building and breaking stars, using them until they no longer served their purpose. This raised a haunting question. Was this star's story unique, or simply the latest chapter in an ongoing cycle? A cycle fueled by power, secrets, and the kind of influence that never shows its face directly. Even after all the rumors, scandals, and resurfaced evidence, too many questions remain unanswered. What really happened in the missing chapters of their career? Who was responsible for silencing insiders? Were the diaries real? And if so, who has them now? Every explanation seemed incomplete, every official story too neat to be believable. And every time one mystery faded, another one surfaced. An odd quote, a leaked text, a cryptic song lyric.
I'm glad you're here. Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
I wasn't walking away from the money. I was walking away from the circumstances with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14. I've heard the stories, seen these kinds of things play out in front of me. I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah.
It's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress because, when you're a guy that generates money,
Yeah.
people have a vested interest in control.
Fans were left with puzzle pieces that almost fit together, but not quite. And that's where the story takes its strangest turn. Because sometimes the most important answers aren't the ones we're given. They're the ones we're never allowed to hear. Toward the end, one claim surfaced that shook even the most skeptical fans. A former associate hinted that there were files, audio recordings, written testimonies that had been hidden for years. If true, they would completely rewrite the narrative, exposing not just the star's struggles, but the forces pulling strings behind them. The claim was never confirmed. No files were released, no hard evidence ever made public. But the possibility was enough to spark endless debate. Could this be the missing piece? Or was it another rumor designed to distract from the truth? Either way, the revelation left fans with a haunting thought. If there really are files that never saw the light of day, what's inside them must be powerful enough to shake the entire industry to its core. In the end, this isn't just a story about one star. It's a story about the cost of fame, the fragility of truth, and the shadows that linger behind every spotlight. The scandals, the betrayals, the whispers of diaries and recordings. They all point to a reality most fans never see, A reality where power decides what we know and silence protects those at the top. But here's the question that lingers long after the headlines fade. How much of what we've been told is the truth, and how much has been carefully constructed to keep us distracted? The answer may never be revealed outright, but the clues are there, waiting for those willing to piece them together. Because sometimes the most dangerous secrets aren't the ones shouted from the rooftops. They're the ones everyone already suspects, but no one dares to say aloud. At first glance, it looked like a dream. Fame, fortune, and a spotlight that never dimmed. To the public, it seemed like the perfect story of talent rewarded. Magazine covers celebrated them as icons, music videos painted them as untouchable, and interviews made them appear almost larger than life. The industry crafted this image with precision, making sure every angle was polished and every flaw erased. But behind the carefully staged smiles and press tours, there were cracks, little inconsistencies in their stories, unexplained disappearances from the public eye, and comments from insiders that didn't quite line up with the official narrative. While fans cheered, others whispered, suggesting that this rise to fame wasn't just about talent, but about what was sacrificed along the way. And as time went on, those whispers would become impossible to ignore. The first real warning signs came quietly. A canceled performance here, a sudden disappearance there. Official explanations always painted a clean picture. Exhaustion, scheduling conflicts, personal time away. But to those paying closer attention, the puzzle pieces didn't fit.
How do you feel about him as a person, as an artist?
Martin Lawrence is the guy that showed everybody you can make it from D.C. to Hollywood. And I had a personal stake in his success. Every time he did something, it made me feel inspired and really good. And he was always real nice to me. He'd sit me down, what's going on with you, baby boy? What? We'd talk about comedy, whatever. And, you know, when we did Blue Streak, we were promoting it, and Martin had a stroke. He almost died. And then after that, I saw him, and I was like, oh my God, Martin, are you okay? And he said, I got the best sleep I ever got in my life. That's how tough he is. So let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, they are trying to kill me?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. These people are not crazy, they're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
Rumors began to swirl about things happening behind the scenes. Strange business deals, broken friendships, and the kind of pressure that could crack even the strongest spirit. Even more suspicious were the people who tried to speak out. A former associate hinting at being silenced, an old friend abruptly distancing themselves, and even cryptic social media posts that seemed to reference something darker beneath the surface. Fans debated endlessly. Was it all just coincidence? Or was there a much bigger story hiding underneath? And then came the first major scandal that blew the whispers into full-blown headlines. Every story of fame comes with invisible fingerprints, unseen forces guiding careers, pulling strings, and deciding who gets the spotlight. For this star, it became clear that their path wasn't just built on talent, but on deals made in back rooms and contracts signed under pressure. Insiders have often hinted that the entertainment world isn't a free stage, it's a chessboard, and the players don't always know they're being moved. Behind the glamour, whispers suggested that certain choices weren't choices at all. A sudden change in image, lyrics that didn't match their usual voice, or even collaborations that felt forced. Fans noticed, but the explanations never added up. Critics called it rebranding, but some insiders claimed it was closer to control. And then there were the stories of pressure. Friends revealed how this star often felt trapped by obligations they couldn't escape. Their schedule was relentless, their interviews seemed scripted, and their public appearances sometimes carried a nervous edge, as if they were performing more than just a song. They were performing their survival. The scariest part? Every time someone got too close to revealing the truth, the conversation seemed to vanish. Whether it was a journalist pulling a story, an insider suddenly going quiet, or footage that never aired, the evidence of a much larger system kept disappearing. Fans began to wonder, if the industry could silence so many voices, what else had they been hiding? But the real intrigue began when whispers of secret diaries and buried testimonies started circulating. It always starts with whispers, claims that somewhere out there lies the missing piece of the puzzle. In this case, the whispers spoke of diaries, journals, and private notes that could rewrite the entire narrative. Fans speculated that these writings contained confessions, names, dates, and hidden details about what really happened behind the curtain of fame. Some even believed these diaries had been intentionally locked away, removed from the public eye before they could spark chaos. One former associate hinted that they had seen pages filled with raw emotion, anger, regret, and fear. If true, these weren't just scribbles from late nights on tour, but testimonies documenting an unspoken side of stardom. Some passages allegedly described secret meetings, coded references to powerful figures, and confessions about things that were never meant to leave the page. Online communities took these whispers and ran with them, comparing notes, digging through old interviews, and analyzing cryptic social media posts. They pointed out moments where the star seemed to reference keeping notes or writing it all down someday. Could that have been a clue? But the biggest question was simple. If these diaries really existed, why were they hidden? Some believed it was for protection, too dangerous to release.
Ethos, or somebody once said my problem was I didn't understand the social contract here. I now understand what that means.
Yeah.
Do you understand it?
The social contract?
Yeah.
I think I do.
Yeah. What is it for you?
The social contract. You can't get mad.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get mad. You can't let it get you, because you have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken that you are going to be over at some point by people who you may have done something nice for.
Mm.
And it may happen that by circumstance, or even very purposefully, that you over. But that shouldn't get in the way of you being able to sit down and have fun with them. Am I on the right track?
Absolutely.
You can't build a resentment about it. You have to still try and love those people.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they're thinking.
Because it ain't personal.
No, it's not personal. They don't really mean to hurt you.
No.
Not really. I don't quite understand. Well, I mean, there's a lot of motivations for why it happens. Yes, many.
I mean, money will make you do stuff as well, won't it? I mean,
Yes.
one, them, us,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, well, whoever.
If there's many millions riding on a decision, it's hard to be philosophical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very hard. Very hard to be, you know, you have to choose what level of integrity you're coming in at. And
Okay.
and I've often felt it. I've sat there and I have felt the knife slipped firmly in between my shoulder blades and tried to have it shoved through the other side through my heart. And I've actually felt the whole thing and I've gone, ah! Or wait till next week, you know? Or I'll think, you fucking, and you'll resent it for a little while, then you have to let it go. Otherwise, you'll eat yourself alive.
Others speculated they had been taken, suppressed by the very people the writings exposed. Either way, the rumors painted a chilling picture. Somewhere out there, locked away from the world, may be the raw truth that explains everything. And just when whispers of hidden writings began to spread, a scandal would erupt that made even the most loyal fans question everything they thought they knew. Every rise to fame eventually meets its breaking point. And for this star, that moment came with a scandal so explosive it shattered the carefully crafted image overnight. Headlines erupted, social media caught fire, and the story dominated every platform. To the public, it looked like a sudden downfall. But to those paying attention, it felt like the tip of an iceberg that had been waiting to crack for years. Official reports gave one version of events, a neatly packaged explanation designed to calm the storm. But insiders painted a very different picture. They spoke of arguments behind closed doors, suspicious timing, and a series of coincidences that didn't quite add up. Fans dissected interviews frame by frame, pointing out nervous glances, shaky answers, and awkward silences. It was as if the truth was trying to leak out, even when the star wasn't allowed to say it outright. The scandal also revealed fractures in relationships that once looked unshakable. Former collaborators distanced themselves, old friends avoided questions, and even family ties seemed strained. Each silence spoke louder than words. What had once been a flawless reputation was now buried under questions that refused to go away. But the most unsettling part? Even as the media pushed one story, evidence kept slipping through the cracks. Unverified recordings, mysterious posts, and cryptic comments from people who seemed to know more than they were allowed to say. It left fans wondering, was this truly a scandal born from the star's mistakes? Or a carefully staged takedown designed to keep the darkest secrets hidden? And just when it seemed like the world had heard everything, another layer of betrayal would push the story even deeper into chaos. If fame is a spotlight, then trust is its shadow. And in this case, shadows grew long and dark. After the scandal, the biggest shock wasn't just what happened, but who stood beside the star and who stepped away. Overnight, allies turned into strangers, and people who once praised them suddenly acted like they had never met. Old friends were nowhere to be found. Collaborators made vague statements about focusing on their own path. And even industry mentors who once claimed this star was untouchable suddenly kept their distance. The betrayals weren't always loud or public, they were quiet, cutting, and cold. One by one, the people closest seemed to vanish, leaving the star isolated. But there were also those who appeared to know more than they admitted. Some hinted in interviews about not being surprised by the scandal, while others dropped cryptic posts online that fans immediately connected to the controversy. To the outside world, it seemed like the star had been abandoned at their lowest moment. But to those watching closely, it looked like something far more calculated, as if certain people had been waiting for the right time to cut ties, or worse, had played a role in setting them up. Even more chilling were the betrayals from within. Rumors that someone close to the star had leaked information, feeding the scandal that nearly destroyed them. Fans debated endlessly. Was it a jealous friend, a former partner, or someone inside the camp pulling strings for their own benefit? What became clear was this: loyalty in the entertainment world was fragile, and when money, power, and reputation were on the line, betrayal wasn't the exception, it was the rule.